yeah, that is the one I've gone for. I think that's going to be really good. I'll keep you updated in the future. Red Dragon, Thai Dwarf. And apparently it will start setting flowers and fruit in only 4 months.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Plant from seed, and in 4 months it'll be setting flowers. So that's amazing, that alone, yes? That's incredible. But anyway, that's that page. So there's just a bit of a rundown of all the different types of seeds they have. And now just here I've sort of put aside some of the best papayas that they're selling, that I believe are their best papayas. So we just have a look here. We'll start with this one. Yeah, this is the Marital. This is quite a commercial variety. Yeah, non-GMO, sweet fruit. Yeah, I think some of the commercial papaya suppliers to Australian supermarkets, I think they're starting to go into this variety. And it's good. It's a nice fruit. On the papaya groups on Facebook, I've seen some of the commercial farmers around the world growing this variety too, and quite happy with it. $8.95 for how many seeds? 30 seeds, $8.95. It's a good price. Yeah, now this one, the African Giant. Now, yeah, as I was saying before, my mouth just waters looking at these papayas. If I had more space, I'd be very tempted to grow a few of these. Dwarf African Red, Red X1 papaya seeds, bisexual.
Gay!
Again, some of these bisexuals, years ago I was against the bisexuals, but after I bought my Dwarf Thai strain, that I said's not too good, but the bisexual side was good.
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind. So we'll hear about that coming up. Okay.
Because they'd tend to be, most of my seeds, they'd tend to be mostly female. But they didn't need a male. They would self-pollinate. They'd have just a tiny bit of male in them, in each tree, and that was just enough to self-pollinate. So why waste time with males taking up space when you could have like a farm like this, just all females? That's the ideal. Why waste your time with males? Interesting, huh? There it is. Okay, this is it. Look at that papaya. Amazing. If I had the space, I'd definitely be buying that seed. Not only $9.95 for 20 seeds. Organic Royal Golden Thai. Wow.
Wow!
Yeah, here we go. Sandnes Farm. Dwarf yellow papaya seeds. Buy from the grower. Interesting, because you don't want mongrels. Now here it is. This is the seed I've bought. The Papaya Red Dragon Thai Dwarf. I bought 30 seeds. Bonsai. Sweetest available. A1. This is the one I want. See, they've cut it there when it's still green and it's very red. An amazing bonsai papaya producing fruit at only 3 feet high in only 4 months. From seed, 4 months producing fruit at 3 feet of height.
Wow.
Growing to 6 feet in 3 years in full sun in high quality composted soil. Easy and prolific harvesting. Well, you don't have to climb ladders to harvest them, do you? You'll be amazed with the taste and sweetness of these papayas. I believe it's the best tasting red papaya I've ever tasted myself. Okay, he says that there. So I'm going with him. I trust these people and I'm going with them. This is the one I want. So according to the grower, supplier of these seeds, this is his best tasting papaya. So they've won me. These guys are the kings. These guys are the seed kings. Yeah, I really believe that, hey. Take a bow, Sandnes Farms. You are the best. I really believe they are the best papaya seed growers and suppliers in Australia. But yeah, these are acclimatised to Queensland conditions, which is about as good as you can get. Beautiful Thai varieties that have been grown in Queensland, acclimatised to Queensland conditions, grown organically in Queensland, super sweet fruit. Also suitable to be eaten green as flesh is very crispy. Long elongated fruit. Red delicious flesh. Non-GMO. Purity 98%. Again, a 98% purity. They've won me.
You win!
That's why I'm really excited about this strain and growing it. Hi, my friends. Welcome to Local Time. It is the 14th of September 2021, and today I would like to introduce to you what I think are the very best papaya seed growers and suppliers in Australia. Now, I know that's a big call, but these guys really know their stuff. And I believe they deserve a bit more recognition, actually. They've been doing a very good job for quite a few years. They're very accessible on eBay. Now, I could be wrong about them being the best, but they are the best that I have found anyway. And I think just about anyone else would struggle to keep up with them. And this is their name here, Sandnes Farm. Yeah, and they've been on eBay for quite a while. They sell a number of amazing strains, mostly Thai strains. One of the things that really caught my eye was they guarantee purity, although recently they're not guaranteeing purity as much as they used to. They used to often guarantee like 94% purity. Yeah, with 94% purity, that means like out of every 100 seeds, 94 of those seeds are going to be exactly the same as the parent plants. And that's a big call. And you might remember with my papaya seed growing, like recently I tried to propagate my really delicious Hawaiian Gold papaya, which, you know, the fruit on my Hawaiian Gold papaya is absolutely delicious. And I've had it for 7 or 8 years. It's been a fantastic tree. And then I've grown from seed on that papaya, grown a number of babies from that seed, and now I'm picking the fruit and it's just not the same. Something has crossed into my Hawaiian Golds, and they've got a mongrel crossed in with them. Actually, there's a yellow mongrel has crossed in with them, one of those bitter yellows that well, a lot of the old timers used to like those bitter yellows, but and I will eat them, but they're some of my least favorite papayas. And I've checked on Google Maps. I've looked around this whole area trying to see who else is growing papayas here, and I can't find anything. I can't find anything for like, a kilometre even, or all the neighbouring yards. There just doesn't seem to be any papayas here. And I could be wrong, but so that just goes to show there doesn't have to be any papayas growing close to cross into my seeds or your seeds or whatever to make your strains less than superior. It can come from a long way away. And I'm pretty sure now it was the fruit bats that have crossed my Hawaiian Gold, because I get a few fruit bats here and they really love the flowers. The fruit bats play a big role in fertilising the flowers of native trees here in Australia, and they're just doing the same with the papaya. And it's possible even the papaya that crossed in with my Hawaiian Gold and made it less than superior, it could be 2 kilometres away. So that's how easy it is to have your strain ruined by external forces outside of your control. So whenever you get a seed supplier that can guarantee their seeds, well, that's a really big call. And these guys were doing that for years. They're not quite doing it as much these days, but I still have a lot of faith and a lot of trust in these guys. I have very recently bought some seeds off them, and they came very quickly. Within 3 days I got them in the mail, and I've bought a really excellent strain. And this strain, they do, I think it was about 98% purity, they guarantee. We'll have a look again soon. I'll just check to be sure.
Wow!
Oh my God! Wow! But this seed is guaranteed, the one I've bought. I bought 30 seeds for $19.95. But anyway, I'll give you a bit more of a look at this Sandnes Farm. It's a collaboration between Australians and Thais. And it's really worked well here. And I assume it may be an Australian man, a husband with a Thai wife, for instance. And it seems the Australian husband is a very experienced farmer with horticultural qualifications. He's been to university. And then with the good Thai knowledge, because the Thais are fantastic farmers. Yeah, they're some of the world's best farmers. I think between the Thais and the Vietnamese and yeah, there's some of the world's best farmers without doubt. And there's a lot of amazing strains of all sorts of different foods in Thailand. And papayas is one of them. And yeah, I'll just give you a bit of a look here. As you can see, they've got very high ratings. Yep, they've been going for years, and I've been reading their seed descriptions for more than a year, and I've been very impressed with them, because I'm no complete novice. I've had a small papaya farm myself before, but I'm not formally trained. Well, actually, my papaya farm that I grew about 18, 20 years ago now, the red papaya was very new to Australia at the time, and there was a lot of disease going around and wiping out entire areas of papaya. And I had a bit of ground up west of Bundaberg, and there'd been no papayas grown there before, so I just seized the opportunity. I thought, well, this is the perfect time to grow papayas, get into the papaya business. And there was a really beautiful, small and completely round red papaya around at the time that was coming from Innisfail and being sold commercially. And it was very nice. It was delicious, actually. And a lot of the farms up there called it a lily pilly. And I've never been able to find that papaya again since, actually. But yeah, it was a small, round red. And yeah, a lot of the farms around Innisfail called it a lily pilly. The lily pillies are an Australian native fruit. So I suspect maybe it was bred in Australia. I don't know. But anyway, when I decided to start my farm, I collected seeds from these lily pilly papayas. And I thought I was going to have one of the best papaya strains around. And yeah, I grew hundreds of trees from these seeds, and hardly one of them came out true to type, which is just amazing. And that was a big learning lesson for me back then too. That was 18 years ago. It was a big learning curve. Yeah, I planted hundreds of these papaya. They all grew well. They were all healthy. But out of hundreds of trees, there was only a small few that came out true to type, that came out as the nice, round, red, lily-pilly papayas. And I had papayas all shapes and sizes. It was amazing. But that's just how it goes. It's really hard to keep your purity with your seed, to get pure seeds. And if you're a novice, well, maybe you might just like to muck around with seeds you collect. You might eat a nice fruit and say, okay, I'll plant those seeds. But often you can find the seeds you plant from a nice fruit, well, they could still just turn into anything. They really could. There could be just huge amounts of variation. And you've seen even now, I bought a Thai variety of red papayas about 7 years ago. I bought it on eBay. There were some seed suppliers based in Thailand. I bought, I think it was 30 odd seeds from them. It was very cheap. And they had a picture of the papayas that they claimed these seeds were. They were the nice, big, very deep red, sweet, torpedo-shaped papayas. That's what they claimed them to be. And then I got the seeds here and I planted them, and it was a similar thing. There was just too much variation. Out of many seeds, I got a few of these nice big torpedoes, and then I got a whole range of all these other types of papayas. And I had some trees that were very heavy bearers, that was guaranteed by the seed supplier. But I had other trees that were just very poor, that were very poor yields. So I've played around with it. I have enjoyed doing it, I guess. It still was a very interesting strain, I found. And I thought maybe I could selectively breed it. And there was no other access to good Thai papayas again. So I thought I'd selectively breed it. And I spent a few years trying to selectively breed that strain. And the truth is, it would take ages. And when I originally bought that strain, I was thinking, I'll be able to sell the seeds one day. But then after a few years of trying to selectively breed, I realized, no, I couldn't sell these seeds because I couldn't guarantee them. And I would have just given myself a bad name trying to sell them. And the plus points of my old strain, my Dwarf papaya strain from Thailand, I think you could call them all Thai dwarfs. So that was a plus. They were all dwarfs. They all bore fruit fairly quickly. They were all reds, although varying shades of reds, but they tended to be red, I guess. Some were a little on the orange side. Another big plus is there was no males. They were all bisexual. Every one of them was bisexual. And just recently, actually, you see my latest gardening update, I got my first 2 plants that were almost males. But even now, they've suddenly thrown out some fruit, so they are bisexuals as well. Otherwise, every tree tended to be, each tree tended to be like 94% female, say, with just enough male in them to self-pollinate. They were good traits, but otherwise it didn't make the grade. There's too much variation in my dwarf Thais. So I realised I had to see the experts. I have to buy guaranteed seeds, and you're just wasting your time playing around with less than superior seeds. Like, I've had some good harvests. I've got some nice fruits. In some ways, the variation in fruit, it's kind of interesting even. I get different flavoured fruits, but there's nothing like having guaranteed strains. Like, look at this papaya here, how much fruit's on that. That's just incredible. So, if you're going to plant 10 papayas, that's what you want. You want a big, heavy yielding papaya tree, really, or a really superb taste. And this is what Sandnes Farms pretty well guarantees. So yeah, I'll show you here. They've got 485 positive feedback, 2 neutral, 0 negative, and they've been at it for years. Like I couldn't even say how many years, but it's been a number of years they've been here selling on eBay. And yeah, in my opinion, these guys are the best. If you want some really great papaya strains, these are the people you want to see. And they provide a really good service. They really deserve accolades because, you know, they really should take a bow because they're just doing a really great job. They're doing what they say they're doing. They're supplying top quality papaya plants. And yeah, as you can see here, they've got a whole range of other seeds as well. This is a dwarf mango papaya. That would be quite interesting too. They've got snake beans there. I think that's a heirloom tomato, capsicums. When you click on to see their whole list, this is a little confusing here. See, this is what the name is here when you click on to see the whole list of Sandnes Farm seeds. But yeah, it's the same people, Sandnes Farms. Sandnes Farm and Store. They grow and supply seeds. Now this dwarf Marital, that's quite a popular commercial variety red papaya. I think I have tried it before. It's pretty nice. It's quite sweet. Then they've got the Red Lady. That's another popular red papaya plant. Quite a popular commercial variety. I'm not sure exactly what they mean here. They say this with a few of their different seeds. They just say Thai dwarf papaya seeds. But hopefully there's a fair bit of uniformity there. More red ladies there. More red ladies. A dwarf yellow. That looks quite interesting. Another, they say, a rare Thai dwarf bonsai. Bisexual, organically grown. These seeds are Thai seeds, but they've been acclimatized in Queensland. So they've got more cold tolerance. That's one of the big factors. That's a big bonus too. Is yeah, they're Thai seeds, but they've been grown here for a while in Queensland. So they have a better cold tolerance. A number of them have resistance to disease. This is a really interesting strain, I think. I look at these fruit. This is a dwarf African. I think pretty well all their seeds are Thai except for this one variety. And I'm very interested in that too. If I had my little farm going again, I'd be buying a whole range of seeds from these people. Now, I remember these really long red papayas. I remember trying one of these once, and it was a really long time ago, but my mouth still just waters looking at these fruit. Because I remember the one I ate was really good. It was absolutely delicious. But they're kind of an unusual fruit. I wonder how good a commercial variety they have. Perhaps so even, it depends. That they could have a bit of novelty value, just being so long and skinny. For the real papaya lovers, could go for them. But yeah, if I had more room, I'd definitely buy that strain and plant a few. But anyway, this is what I bought. This is the one I decided to go for. After a lot of thinking about it and tossing up, I went for this one that they call a Red Dragon Dwarf Thai. Now, to me, I think that's the best one they have. well, certainly for me anyway. The farmer here, he says these are the sweetest and best tasting of all the papayas he has. And for me, I'll just follow his advice because I've been, reading him for a long time and he really knows his stuff. I think there's no denying it. These people really know what they're doing. These people are the papaya seed experts. And when you meet the experts, you need to just humble yourself and learn from them. So yeah, I'll show you a bit more about this strain soon. But yeah, I bought 30 of these, and that's my goal. Is soon, it's spring now, another few weeks it's hopefully going to warm up a bit more, and I'll be planting all 30 seeds, and my goal is to get 30 of these in the ground. And yeah, it's got a lot of good commercial potential, so I should be able to sell on the excess. They're a big fruit, and they're supposed to be very delicious, very good tasting big fruit, and a true red. Because again, in Australia, at the moment anyway, most of the papayas being sold in Australia that they call reds, they're not really reds at all. They're an orange. They're not a true red. And they tend to be quite good if they only let them ripen on the tree. But these days they've got really bad. The papaya fruit growers in Australia have really they've really dropped, because the quality is bad. The fruit strain is quite good, but they just pick them too damn green. And well, yeah, okay, green papaya has its uses, but they don't have any ripe papaya. So if you want nice ripe papaya, you've got to give them time to ripen up, and they're just never as sweet. They're just never as good as they could be if they let them ripen on the tree. And once that was the only way you ever got papayas, they let them ripen on the tree. But now they've got really lazy. They've become lazy farmers. They're big farming companies. They just want to pick these things green when they're hard as rocks, and they just throw them around like cricket balls. And that's it. You know, you either buy them green and hard, or you do without, or you grow your own. That's the only choice. And that's what I'm doing now, growing my own. But yeah, that is the one I've gone for. I think that's going to be really good. I'll keep you updated in the future. Red Dragon, Thai Dwarf. And apparently it will start setting flowers and fruit in only 4 months.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Plant from seed, and in 4 months it'll be setting flowers. So that's amazing, that alone, yes? That's incredible. Yeah, there's another dwarf bonsai growing in pots in the pic. Interesting. And here's some other different types of fruit. This one looks very similar to the African. It's a very long fruit again. See, I'm not exactly sure which one I tried, whether it was an African or maybe it was this Thai, this long Thai. Cagdum. I shouldn't even try to pronounce. I've probably got it so wrong. But again, it's probably very similar to that African. Could be a very nice papaya. There's this mango papaya. Could be good. Could be interesting. Got a whole range here. Now I want to buy this seed too. This is an Hawaiian yellow papaya. And it looks almost the same as my Hawaiian golds. Only my Hawaiian golds are more golden. This one's very yellow. But almost identical shape. They look so much like my Hawaiian golds. Yeah, only my Hawaiian gold is more golden. This is very yellow. But he claims very sweet, very sweet. So I'm going to give a few of those a go too. And I think maybe that's the closest I'm going to get to my Hawaiian gold here. There's my big old tree. It's going to die out before too long. I've been picking it for more than 7 years, so it would be nice to have some follow-up. Some nice sweet yellows, as opposed to, most yellows in Australia. Even the supermarkets, when you buy yellows in the supermarkets here, they're still bitter. That's which is a carryover from just how papayas always were in Australia. Or we called them pawpaws, and they were yellow and they were bitter. And in most cases, they still are in the supermarkets. And that's why there's a lot of people just don't like pawpaw. Well, that's what we called them. But I think papaya really is the correct term globally. But in Australia, they've conditioned us now. They've been conditioning us now to call the reds papaya, and we're still calling the yellows pawpaw. But I think in the rest of the world, they pretty well call them all papaya. So I'm trying to just get up to speed with the rest of the world. So I don't want to sort of be... As Australians, we often speak an English that nobody understands. So I've got to teach myself to speak a global English that everyone can understand. So that's why I started calling them all papaya, reds and yellows. I call them all papayas because I think that's what the rest of the world calls them. And pawpaw, well, certainly in the USA, there's a fruit called a pawpaw in the USA, and it's nothing like these things. It's a completely different type of plant altogether. Well, it's an actual tree, and there's no connection to papayas whatsoever. But anyway, yeah, they got orchis here, corn. They've got a lot of things. I wouldn't say they've got a lot of papayas here. I wouldn't say mostly papayas, though. They've got some interesting things. Like that's an interesting strawberry, huh? And usually it's non-GMO. So this one even, I'm imagining then this is not GMO. All their papayas are non-GMO. So that's really good. Because in some places in the world, it's almost impossible now. I think that's how it is in America, actually, and Hawaii. There's been so much GMO papaya introduced, and it's crossed into everything. It's crossed into all the old good strains too, which is a terrible tragedy. This orange candy dwarf papaya looks interesting. Cold tolerant, shade tolerant. Yeah, not for me, but it could be for some people. Serpent gourd seeds. Look at these giant chili banana seeds. Look at them. Huge. Cape gooseberries. Purple giant passion fruit seeds. I might try a passion fruit here one day. I've been thinking about that. I wouldn't mind doing that, but you really need somewhere for them to climb. You sort of got to be set up for them. You need the area for them to climb, and you don't want them to take over your whole yard. See there again, the red lady papaya seeds there. Look at the fruit on that tree. Just a short tree, but just huge amount of fruit. See, that's the sort of thing you want. And that's the sort of thing you will get if you get your good seeds from a respected seed supplier. It's basically what you've got to do. Like I was saying, you can play around pulling seeds out of papayas. You might say, oh, that's a nice papaya, I'll plant some of those seeds. But the chances that those seeds are going to be true to type, you could potentially get anything. And if you like papayas, okay, fair enough, you'll like it. But you know, if you want to get serious, you've got to buy your seeds. It's just so easy for papaya seeds to get crossed, to have all sorts of mongrel papayas cross in with them. That's that giant African again. Yeah, I was so tempted to buy that one. But I think I'm just going to stick to the red dragon, and I'm going to get a few of those yellow Hawaiians. I'm going to give that a try too for now. And interesting enough, well, this is their whole list of seeds. There's that dwarf mango again. Could be interesting. But there's a bit of a glitch here in this seed list, I think, because I found some things here, some papayas that they've got for sale, and it's not listed here. So, you know, this is page 2, and there's a lot of the same things on page 2. So, yeah, there's a bit of a glitch here. Nice big eggplant, hey. Beans. A yellow tomato. So it's virtually black tomatoes. That's interesting. I think I saw the orange chilies. Yeah, there's the orange chilies there. I think I saw them separate. I just bought some orange chilies last night, actually, or 2 nights ago. I didn't think about looking at if these guys had them, but I think they did. I think I saw it here just before. It should come up soon, actually. Bird's eye chili there. Yeah, there's a bit of a glitch, this seed list. But yeah, they've got a good range of seeds here. There we go. Giant orange peppers. Maybe these are probably a lot bigger than the ones I bought. I bought a smaller orange pepper, which I really miss. It was a really delicious orange pepper, a sweet pepper. It was hot and sweet and fruity. And they used to sell it in all the supermarkets here until about 10 years ago, and then they just stopped. And I really miss them. So, and I'm starting a new garden soon. So yeah, I bought 10 of these pepper seeds. They look just like that, but a lot smaller. But that could be interesting just the same. Yeah, I bought 10 seeds for about $3, and it should be great. I'm really looking forward to it, to growing these orange peppers. And once I've grown a few, I'll always have seeds from then on. I'll never have to buy seeds again. Again, look at that. That's quite big, hey? Oh, what's going on here? Coriander. Wow, big pumpkin there. Wow, giant pumpkins, eh? World's largest pumpkin. Win competitions. That's a hobby I'd love to try one day. That would be a fun hobby, actually, I think. Now, where did I see? Oh, I still missed it. Mouse chili. Okay, that's interesting. A small, very hot chili. They're always good to have too. I'm hoping to grow a few small hot chilies bushes in my veggie garden soon. Small hot chili bushes. Well, hopefully I'm after biggish bushes that supply small chilies. I don't really like the chili bushes that are too small. They just don't bear enough fruit in my mind. The bigger ones can be very productive. You get a lot of chilies off them. Oh, there's a big chili again. Wow. Big melons. Oh, yeah, that's what I was looking for. More chili banana seeds. Wow, it's quite big, isn't it? I wonder how hot they are. Because, geez, if it was very hot, you wouldn't need much of them, would you? I'm assuming they're just like a hot capsicum. Yeah, wow. Quite a big chili there. But anyway, that's that page. So there's just a bit of a rundown of all the different types of seeds they have. And now just here I've sort of put aside some of the best papayas that they're selling, that I believe are their best papayas. So we just have a look here. We'll start with this one. Yeah, this is the Marital. This is quite a commercial variety. Yeah, non-GMO, sweet fruit. Yeah, I think some of the commercial papaya suppliers to Australian supermarkets, I think they're starting to go into this variety. Well, some of them are. It looks very similar. And it's good. It's a nice fruit. On the papaya groups on Facebook, I've seen some of the commercial farmers around the world growing this variety too, and quite happy with it. So yeah, here we've got, what have we got here? $8.95 for how many seeds? 30 seeds, $8.95. It's a good price. I think there's a lot of papaya seed suppliers who will sell you this strain because it's quite common. There's quite a few papaya seed suppliers around the world who will sell you that strain. See, so here they have their description. These are the things I've been reading their descriptions of their seeds for more than a year, and that's where I really picked up that these people know their stuff. They really do. They're the papaya seed experts. As I learned things about papayas just reading their descriptions. But again, this is all ideal. It's non-GMO, sweet fruit, heavy-bearing bonsai trees. Very easy to grow, very sweet fruit. Will grow well in pots. Posted, well, they're just very quick with the postage. As soon as you buy, it'll be on your door in a letter. I got my letter within 3 days, a letter with my 30 seeds in it. You place an order and you're pretty well going to get your seeds within 3 days. Very sweet fruit, grows well in pots, posted with tracking, free postage. You're buying direct from the grower, from an expert grower. So that's the benefits of doing business with these people. Sandnes Farms. So here we have down the bottom, he just says a little farming, nursery, and 25 plus years experience growing. Tested in the field, grower certified, grower qualified, certified. There we go. Plus diploma in landscape with a distinction. So yeah, he studied. Unlike me, I didn't study. I'm self-taught. So yeah, it just gives him that edge, you know. He just knows more. He just knows more about how to grow things well. And he says at the bottom here in some of his other seed descriptions, he's got a farm here in Australia and a farm in Thailand. And that's where he's got all these amazing Thai strains. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but I can only assume, I guess, maybe I shouldn't even say it, but I will, is I assume he's an Aussie guy who's married a Thai woman, and the woman has come from a long line of expert Thai farmers, and combining his experience, his qualifications with the Thai woman, she would really know her stuff as well, her family, and the two of them together, they are really doing Australia a great service by providing superb seeds. I think that's the best way to describe it. Absolutely superb papaya seeds that have been acclimatized in Queensland. So yeah, he's got a bit of a description there about how to raise them. Just some of the basics, like soaking the seeds for 24 hours. He also recommends using a heat bed to raise your seed in most of these lists, although some are more cold tolerant than others. But a lot of these are tended to come from a warmer climate originally in Thailand. It's the optimum germination temperature here, 20 to 25 degrees C. That's not too bad. That's achievable in even southeast Queensland in summer. But yeah, a heat bed is good. I've got my hot water system. I've got a hot water system downstairs, and I can sit 20 or 30 pots on top of my hot water system. And that should work perfectly as a heat bed and give them that extra warmth that they need to germinate. So yeah, well, if you just freeze that, you'll be able to get a bit of a description of the basics there of how to grow your papayas. And now I'll move on to the next papaya. So that's the Marital, yeah, commercial. You could get that seed from many different places actually. The Marital Red Papaya. Yeah, now this one, the African Giant. Now, yeah, as I was saying before, my mouth just waters looking at these papayas because I can still remember eating one of these papayas once and it was really good. That's why if I had more space, I'd be very tempted to grow a few of these. But I'm just here in the suburbs. I've still got my land up north, and I still sometimes I'm tempted to go up there and start a farm again. And if I did, I'd be using all these seeds. I'd be using a mixture of a number of these different seeds. But yeah, I think that papaya's got a lot of potential too. And it's hard to be exactly sure how to go commercially. It may be good, may be good. It's a big fruit. Unless you really love papayas, I think the big fruits tend to scare a lot of people away, actually, if the fruits are big. Now, this is quite long and skinny. See, good size, eh? Like, wow. Have a go at it there. It's just, that's a big fruit. Wow. You know, but if you love your papayas like me, well, even I'd get bogged down with that. I think I'd eat half of one of those for a meal, and then I'd want to eat the other half later. I'd want to rest. That's like family-sized fruit, isn't it? It's a little bit different in that pick than it is in this pick. This is more like the fruit I have tried before, and it was really good, really delicious fruit. And I think this is about their only African strain. Dwarf African Red, Red X1 papaya seeds bisexual.
Gay!
Again, some of these bisexuals, years ago I was against the bisexuals, but after I bought my Dwarf Thai strain, that I said's not too good, but the bisexual side was good.
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind. So we'll hear about that coming up.
Okay.
Because they tend to be, most of my seeds, they tend to be mostly female. But they didn't need a male. They would self-pollinate. They'd have just a tiny bit of male in them, in each tree, and that was just enough to self-pollinate. So why waste time with males taking up space when you could have like a farm like this, just all females? That's the ideal. Why waste your time with males? My Hawaiian gold, for instance, it nearly always turns out half male, half female. And it's a beautiful fruit, but yeah, you're taking up a lot of space growing those males before you realise, before they show sex, before your papaya plants show whether they're male or female, they can get fairly big and take up a lot of space. And well, in the old days, you wanted just one male for every 10 or 20 females. You didn't need many males, so once they all showed sex, you'd be going around chopping a lot of your males out. So with these hermaphrodites, these bisexuals, you don't need to do that. You're making the best use of your space. So here we are, species African Gigante, X1. Wow. Very interesting if you ask me. Subtropical to tropical, that's interesting. Because this is subtropical here down in Brisbane. Non-GMO, 10 quality seeds, very easy to grow, very sweet fruit, huge cylindrical papayas. So here, please be patient during germination time. If you can't wait for them to grow, don't buy, please. Because yeah, as they say, yeah, most papaya seeds will germinate in 4 to 6 weeks. So it's not going to happen overnight. Some papaya types take longer. So yeah, it's a bit of a wait, and ideally, yeah, you want a heat bed, especially in spring, because I want to plant in spring. I want to plant in a couple more weeks. In a lot of ways, these strains will sprout better in summer. But it's nice to get them up in spring if you can, and then you've got more warm weather to get a bit of size on your papayas. If I can get my strain up in spring, they will be starting to fruit in summer by the sound of it. If they say 4 months they start setting fruit, well, that'd be just fantastic. Mine will be setting fruit in summer, and I could even be picking a few fruit by winter. And by next spring, for sure, I'll be picking a lot of fruit. Again, just a bit of a general description of how to grow papayas. Most of the more experienced papaya growers already know. Yeah, a bit of a mention there. Make a hole in the soil that is the depth of the root ball of the plant, but twice as wide. Well, yeah, the rest of your soil wants to be loose, ideally, if you're going to plant a hole that small. Apply dynamic lifter. Remember I was telling you that dynamic lifter is just amazing fertilizer. It's fermented chicken poop with other ingredients as well, and it really gives papayas and other plants a good kick along. The papayas do like a bit of food. They can be heavy feeders when they're young. When they're young, they don't mind a fair bit of water and a lot of fertilizer. See, even here he's saying also, if it's not organic, he's talking about NPK, non-organic NPK fertilizers, and look how high they are. 1648. 48 of phosphorus, that's high. 1846. Or balance 15, 15, 15. They're all high, strong fertilizers. What else? What else can we see here? Oh, it's best to water your papayas in the mornings when needed and avoid wetting the leaves in the afternoon to avoid fungal diseases. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's not a rule I've been following so much lately, but just because of my lousy routine. But yeah, that's the real way to be growing papayas. And as they get bigger too, you don't need to water them too much. They can be fairly drought tolerant. And if you're not careful, you can easily overwater papayas. You can tend to kill them with kindness if you're not careful. Check for diseases and pests regularly and remove any parts of leaves or fruit quickly if contaminated. All good advice there. So unlike the others, our seeds come with instructions, the right item, the right amount or more, organic seed, non-GMO, Australian grown seed. See, that's important. They're acclimatized. Same or next day shipping. Grower qualified, certified, plus diploma landscape with the distinction, tested in the field, farming nursery, and 25 plus years growing experience. Okay, look at this papaya, hey? This is coming soon. That's another one I would buy if I had the space. Very interesting looking strain, I feel. Amazing looking. I would buy it just because I like the look. Called Organic Royal Golden Tie. Wow. Interesting, huh? So yeah, that'll be coming soon. There it is. Okay, this is it. Look at that papaya. Amazing. If I had the space, I'd definitely be buying that seed. Not only $9.95 for 20 seeds. Organic Royal Golden Tie. Wow.
Wow!
I think that's an amazing looking fruit. if it tastes half as good as it looks. Very yellow, isn't it? Very yellow looking fruit. Yeah, what do they say here? Subtropical, tropical, humid, continental, humid, subtropical, loamy soil. Yeah, they all like good, well-drained soil, papayas. Orange, red, or yellow. The picture's quite yellow. Ah, hang on. Ah, this is I've mixed this up a bit. This is the Seed Master. This is another seed supplier. It's not the same as Sandnes Farms. So I wonder why I included that. These guys look all right, the Seed Master company, but they're not as good as Sandnes. I think maybe this might be a seed that they are growing. Yeah, there we go. License from grower Sandnes Farm. So there we go. We've got the Seed Master here. They're selling the seeds from Sandnes Farm. So again, Sandnes Farm, they're the king. They're the ones. Go directly to them because they do have this strain. I'm pretty sure they've got this strain as well for sale. But yeah, this is the Seed Master who's growing and supplying Sandnes Farm seeds. Oh, they say we have new crossbreeds available below. Leave a note if wanting these instead. No mixed packs. So here they have, this is a few of the different crosses. Royal Golden Thai plus Orange Candy. Royal Golden Thai plus the Red Dragon, the one I want. And they say here again, the Red Dragon is the sweetest, 9 out of 10. Royal Golden Thai plus cross Thai Dwarf. So that could be interesting too, but I'd just like to go for this one actually. I just think it would be nice to have some of those. Just for novelty value, no less. And well, it's a Thai strain. It might have something going for it. It might be a very delicious papaya as well. Sweet fruit, that's about all they're saying, I think. Due to the weather in Australia not being consistently hot, we can't guarantee the colour of the fruit. Depending on weather conditions, fruit may not turn to yellow in full, as seen in the picture. Okay, that's a little disappointing. May not turn to yellow in full, as seen in the picture of the Thai grown examples. Sweetness is about 610. That's kind of not so special too. I don't know. Usually eaten green or ripe with sugar.
Aww.
Oh, that's kind of a bit disappointing as well. Okay, fair enough. Plants will be female, bisexual, or male. So grow in a group, cull unwanted flowers. So grow in a group, cull unwanted plants after flowering. Okay, well now I'm reading a bit, I'm kind of going off it a little bit. And that's all they say here. We wish you every success growing Royal Golden Thai papayas. I should have had a look at what they say on the Sandnes Farms of this variety. I'd be more inclined to buy from Sandnes Farms, and that they might be able to guarantee a better seed too, perhaps. But okay, just an interesting looking papaya for you to have a look at. Yeah, here we go, a Sandnes Farm Dwarf yellow papaya seeds. You buy from the grower. interesting, looks interesting. I am interested in trying more yellows if they can guarantee they're sweet. They have to guarantee they're sweet to me. So I don't know what they say here. I've read it before, but I put all these things aside a week or more ago, and now I've kind of forgotten what I've got here for you. 100 seeds. Wow. So what have we got here? 100 seeds for only $13. Again, maybe they're not so special. They're a lot cheaper anyway. Ideally like full sun, instructions. Okay, very sweet fruit, yellow flesh. Okay, 9 out of 10. Okay, it's good. But no bisexuals, female and male, 50-50. Okay, fair enough. As long as it's a sweet yellow, that's what I'm interested in. I do not want any more of those bitter yellows. So I've got a couple of trees in my backyard right now that have got a tinge of that bitter that has crossed in. As I planted the seeds for my Hawaiian golds, and something has crossed in. They've got a tinge of that mongrel bitter, classic Australian pawpaw. And I'm going to chop those trees out. I don't want them. Oh, here we go. Here's another one recommending purity. 98% purity. Now, that's a big call. I really believe that. To guarantee 98% purity, that's a big call. And that's a real plus. It's a real selling point. Germination, 80%. Okay, 20% of the seeds won't come up. Germination temp, 21 to 28. Keep moist. Yeah, that could be an interesting seed. Again, if I had more room, I'd probably go for it. If I had my property even, I'd give them a try, I think. So yeah, very similar description there, just a basic generalized description to grow good papayas. They're set up there for overseas buyers. Yeah, if you're in another country even, I'd recommend these guys. Buy your seeds from these guys. But they do say here, we accept no responsibility for customs losses or charges. Check in your country prior to purchase for approval of your import. So you have to be sure. But I think there's probably a lot of countries you'd be able to buy our seeds and bring them into your country. If I'm lucky enough to move to the Philippines, I would like to be buying my seeds from these guys, and I think I'll be able to do it. The problem is, when you're in Australia, you can't get seeds from overseas. Well, not anymore. You're not supposed to. It's illegal, apparently. Some people still do it, but because of our very strict quarantine rules. But other countries are nowhere near as strict. So yeah, if you're living in the Philippines, you could probably buy these seeds. And if you lost them, it'd just be the Philippines mail. Way things go wrong with their mail sometimes. Because there's a lot of people they're catering for in places over there. So their mail system is not quite as good as first world countries. But then again, actually, Australian mail is not as good either in the last few years. They're trying to cut costs, and they're not as good as they used to be. Okay, well, there's a Dwarf yellow. See, all of these strains are potentially fantastic. It's fantastic. And this one, 98% guaranteed purity. 98%. Purity, 98%. That's a big call. For me, that's one of the biggest selling points, because you don't want mongrels. You don't want it. And now here it is. This is the seed I've bought. The Papaya Red Dragon Thai Dwarf. I bought 30 seeds, Bonsai, sweetest available, A1. This is the one I want. See, they've cut it there when it's still green and it's very red. It's got a nice red look about it. So I imagine as it yellows up, it'll be even more red. It's supposed to be a very nice papaya to eat when it's green as well. So here's a few of the pics again of what it looks like. The Red Dragon Thai Dwarf. This is the one I chose after a lot of thinking and a lot of consideration. This is what I went for. A true red, country, grown in Australia, cultivation difficulty moderate. Okay, so not so easy. Planting time 5 weeks to come up from seed. Fruit seeds, clumping, neutral, clay loam, peat, sand. Dwarf, self-pollinating. Yeah, the climate, they can take quite a mixture of climate here. Arid or highland, humid continental, humid subtropical, marine west coast, Mediterranean, semi-arid, tropical wet and dry. So that's quite a range of different climates where they would grow. Brand Sandnes Farms. So it's pretty well their seed. Watering light. Don't need too much watering. Eat ripe or green. Non-GMO. All our papaya seeds are cold dried naturally for maximum germination and longevity. No chemicals or electric drying devices used. So here's some going on. An amazing bonsai papaya producing fruit at only 3 feet high in only 4 months. From seed, 4 months producing fruit at 3 feet of height.
Wow, wow, wow.
Growing to 6 feet in 3 years in full sun in high quality composted soil. Easy and prolific harvesting. Well, you don't have to climb ladders to harvest them, do you? You'll be amazed with the taste and sweetness of these papayas. I believe it's the best tasting red papaya I've ever tasted myself. Okay, he says that there. I'll say again. I believe it's the best tasting red papaya I've ever tasted myself. So I'm going with him. I trust these people and I'm going with them. This is the one I want. So according to the grower, supplier of these seeds, this is his best tasting papaya. So they've won me a bit of feedback on their Red Dragon papaya fruit. Best papaya I've ever tasted, says Ray from Silkstone, Queensland. Orgasmic, says Helen from Leichhardt, Queensland. Says here you should use a heat pad and a mini greenhouse to germinate the seeds outside of summer. See, summer is the ideal time to germinate these seeds here in Australia, in Queensland. But yeah, I've got my hot water system, so that should work just as well as a heat pad. 30 Red Dragon Dwarf papaya seeds. Papayas are specifically organic grown in Queensland, isolated just for our eBay stores. These guys are the kings. These guys are the seed kings. Yeah, I really believe that, hey. Take a bow, Sandnes Farms. You are the best. I really believe they are the best papaya seed growers and suppliers in Australia. Papaya tips, spreading a few shovels of composted matter lightly around the papaya periodically will significantly increase yield. Always keep trunk base clear and slightly above ground level in well-drained organic soils. Removing some young green fruit when small on the plant will increase sizing if wanting extra large papayas. for pros only. If you want extra large, if you're a pro and you want extra large fruit, only extra regular watering 8 weeks before the first harvest will increase fruit sizes with no taste reduction. Take care when doing this last tip, as overwatering papayas will rot the roots and disform the fruit. If inexperienced growing papayas, use a cheap water moisture reader before watering so as not to drown the plant. Yeah, that's something you've got to be careful of. That's a mistake I've been making a few times the last few years. I've been over-caring for my papayas and over-watering, and that's why I've had a little bit of root rot. Includes detailed instructions, buy direct from the grower, an easy papaya to grow, highly resistant to ring spot virus, fruits well for several years. The fruit is 1.5 to 2.5 kilo, good size. Bisexual or females, no males. That's great. A-grade market quality papaya. See, these are all a lot of big pluses. Fruit sells at $4.99 to $6.99 per kilo. Yeah, that's roughly the price. It tends to be in the big supermarkets about $6 or more per kilo for all red papayas. Fruit price, average size 2 kilo is $10. So yeah, your average size fruit will be about 2 kilos and you can sell it for $10. Yield is 100 to 150 fruit per plant. So I'm assuming what they're saying here is maybe that's throughout their entire life. The life of the entire fruit. I'm assuming that's what they're saying. Surely they don't mean that many fruit each season. Yeah, I'm assuming. And that doesn't seem like a real lot to me, actually. Well, my Hawaiian Gold, gee, it's given me so much more fruit than that in its lifetime. Stacks more fruit than that. I'd get more than 50 fruit every year. Easy. Anyway, height in the tropics, 1.5 meters. Height in the subtropics, which is here in the Brisbane area, 1.8 meters. And again, that'd be full sun. So I'm a bit shady, so they will get taller. They will reach up a bit more for the sun. Good earning potential. I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping to have a lot of good fruit and maybe have a bit of fruit left to sell. It's a rare papaya, created from natural selection to be more tolerant of brief colder temps in winter, which suits Aussie conditions. Yeah, that's one of the problems. That's even one of the problems in our tropics, is we tend to get some brief colder temps sometimes, some brief colder temperatures that you just don't get in the tropics in Asia. Although it's kind of happening a bit in Asia too lately, actually. They've been getting more cold snaps the last 10 years. The weather is going a bit crazy. But yeah, these are acclimatized to Queensland conditions, which is about as good as you can get. Beautiful Thai varieties that have been grown in Queensland, acclimatized to Queensland conditions, grown organically in Queensland, super sweet fruit. Also suitable to be eaten green, as flesh is very crispy. Long elongated fruit. Red, delicious flesh. Non-GMO. Purity, 98%. Again, a 98% purity. They've won me.
You win!
That's why I'm really excited about this strain and growing it. Germination 80%, so 20% of the seeds won't grow. Germination temp, see, this is a hotter one, this one, 27 to 32 C, 27 to 32 Celsius. So this one really does need that heat bed or plant in summer. Because even in summer, we don't get that many days of 32. Well, you know, we could get a month or more. It depends on the year. Some years are different to others. But here, close to the coast, to get those sort of temperatures, it's the middle of summer to get that temperatures. And I don't want to wait till summer to plant these seeds. So hopefully my hot water system is going to get them up. Set them on my hot water system. And that'll act like a heat bed. Tolerates temperatures 1C up to 35C. Well, that's just great. If it can tolerate temps as low as 1C, because luckily it never gets that low around here because we're so close to the coast. Further out away from the coast it'll get colder, but it usually never gets any lower than about 7C here. That's about as cold as it gets. So yeah, that's what they've got from growing in Queensland. They've got a better cold tolerance. Unlike the others, our seeds come with instructions, the right item, the right amount, organic seed, non-GMO, same or next day shipping, grower qualified, certified, plus diploma in landscape with a distinction, field tested plant. Here's where he talks a little about Thailand. 10 years experience in Thailand. So I assume that's his wife or that's his partner. But I can only assume. But this is what you get from a collaboration between a good Australian farmer and the Thais. And unless it's an entire Thai family, it could be that even. I can only guess. But that wisdom, there's a lot of that wisdom from Thailand has gone into producing these seeds, and we're so lucky here in Queensland, we're here in Australia to have people like this with this much experience growing and supplying seeds for us, and in this case papaya seeds. And that they need this sort of experience with durian, actually, further north. It's too cold to grow durian here, but further north, that they need experienced Asian durian farmers advising and selectively breeding seed here in Australia to really get that durian up to as the best quality it can be. But yeah, 10 years experience in Thailand growing papayas and jasmine rice. Okay, interesting. And 25 plus years experience growing in Queensland. Yeah, I'd nearly bet that's an Aussie farmer and his Thai wife. And you could question, who is the most experienced here? The Aussie farmer with the university degree or the Thai wife who's grown up from generations of farming families? That is something to think about, because they both really know their shit. They both know their stuff. Yep, I reckon jump on board and benefit from their knowledge. So yep, folks, this is the seed I've chosen. Papaya Red Dragon Thai Dwarf. I bought 30 seeds, and yeah, as you know, my health's not good, but I so hope I can raise all these and get 30 in the ground, and it's going to be just fantastic. Like, look at that. If I can get fruit like that from 30 plants, wow. It's going to be amazing. Plus, I would like to get at least five of those yellow Hawaiians and get those in the ground too. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be quite a goal for me to be able to achieve that. and we'll just see, you know. I should get at least 10. Well, I don't want to speak too soon, but oh geez, hopefully I'll get at least 10 in the ground. And if I can get 30, I will be stoked. I'll be stoked. I'm just going to have so much good fruit. So there we go, and that was $19.95. So more expensive than the other seeds, but this is, as they say, it's a rare papaya. Almost $20 for 30 seeds. And yeah, I cannot wait to plant them. And it'll be another couple of weeks. Actually, I hope to plant them. I think the full moon, what is it now? It's the 14th. The full moon is going to be about another 7 days. So I like to plant by the moon. And usually if you're planting by the moon, the week after the full moon is the best time to plant things that are going to bear fruit. So both my chilies that I've just bought, actually my chilies too, and these papayas, I want to get them both in pots sprouting in about a week and a half. So yeah, it's coming soon. Get them sitting on my hot water system. Keep that soil warm, and so it's all going to happen. I never realized it's coming so soon. Actually, I've really got to get ready. I've got to prepare. I've got to start, because I'm slow, so I've got to start preparing those pots now. And I'll be using 6-inch pots, and I'll be using a bit of dynamic lift in the bottom of each pot as well, which I find goes quite well. There'll be about a handful of potting mix in the bottom of all my 6-inch pots. Just so as they start getting a bit of age, they get a nice little kick from that. Okay, so here's another one of these reds. That's that red lady. Again, it's a very popular commercial variety. I've seen some quite big farms of this variety. You can get these seeds, again, you can get these seeds just about anywhere. Just about any good seed supplier will sell these trees. Will sell these seeds. But look at it. This is another potentially very good seed. I think if he didn't have the red dragons, I'd be considering this red lady. See, look at that. I've seen farms like that. Isn't that amazing? All females, all the same size, not too high, easy picking, just amazing. And it looks like they've got drippers there on the ground there, which is something I need to do with my papaya. Actually, I want to set up drippers, because I've been just splashing too much water on my stems as I water by hand. So if I set my drippers up, it's going to save me a lot of work, and also I'm going to be keeping those trunks dry as possible, so I don't get any stem rot. That's one of the things I've got to be focusing on in the future, actually. I've got a little bit of stem rot, and I don't want it to happen anymore, so I'm going to have to get serious about that, and I'll give you a video on that too, actually. What I'm going to be doing to stay on top of stem rot. See, and that's the fruit. Actually, gee, that could well be that shape there. Could well be the commercial variety in Australia, like the from Skyberry papayas. They're pretty well the papaya kings in Australia at the moment. Their papayas are shaped very much like that. See, and not overly red, almost an orange. And yeah, it is a very nice papaya, but Skyberry pick them too damn green, and it's just terrible. It's just such a crime. Like, they should be picking green papayas for the people who like green papayas, and also pick them ripe, for God's sake. Or you're going to lose more people like me. I'll just start growing my own. I'll just have enough of you, and I'll be growing my own. I'm just so tired of your green papayas. So anyway, yeah, so again, not as expensive. 25 seeds for $12.95. Now that's one papaya actually. If you bought a skyberry papaya, perhaps you wouldn't need to buy these red ladies. I think a lot of the seeds you'd get from the skyberry papayas could come out very similar to this. Again, if you want to be serious about growing papayas, you shouldn't risk it. You should just buy your seeds. It's not too much. It's not too much expense. And if you buy your seeds off a good seed supplier, you've got just a far better chance of having the right plants and not having any mongrels growing amongst them. Thai Dwarf Bonsai Red Papaya seeds, 25 quality seeds, bisexual, red flesh, sweetness 10-10. So yeah, very sweet red flesh, easy to grow, Bonsai Dwarf Papaya, heavy fruiting plus larger fruit, highly disease resistant, about 2 to 3 weeks to germinate, so that's quicker than a lot of the others at 25 degrees Celsius. Grows very well in subtropical and tropical. If you're in a temperate area, use a glass house or protection during winter. Or behead the plant and insulate it like bananas, or take inside near a lighted window in a pot. Flowers again, flowers and fruit starts in only 4 months, the same as my red dragon. Yeah, that red lady has a good name. I've seen a lot of papaya farmers really like that papaya. Has a good commercial strain. Based in Queensland, Australia, and Sisaket. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Sisaket, Thailand, since 2010. So yeah, it's a union of knowledge between Aussies and Thais, and these people really deliver the goods. Just so many beautiful Thai strains here, acclimatized in Queensland. If you want to get rid of any doubt of things going wrong, of having less than superior strains, these are the people to see. Sandnes Farm on eBay to get your best papayas. So yeah, here we go. Here's that yellow Hawaiian. I would like about 5 of these. It looks almost identical to my Hawaiian Gold, but not as golden, as I was saying before. $11, almost $12 for 50 seeds. Okay, I guess that's, I'd buy less if I could, but I'm not sure if they offer less. But it's cheap, I guess. 50 seeds, I assume, well, let's look further down here. I assume there's going to be males, but how's that for fruit, eh? Look at that, the fruit on that. That one's been topped and it's 2 branches, but wow. That's a lot of fruit, eh? So yeah, let me just look here again. Yeah, they don't say it's a dwarf or anything, because yeah, my Hawaiian Gold is not a dwarf by any means. Mine has grown into a huge tree. The correct term for papayas is a plant. But geez, my Hawaiian Gold, it sure is big for a plant. It's a tree, really. So yeah, I'm going to try this one. I haven't bought this seed for this yet, but I want to try it. $50 seeds, very sweet, organically grown. Yeah, that's good enough for me. You must use a heat pad and a mini greenhouse to germinate. Don't buy if you aren't going to do this. So that's interesting, isn't it? Again, being Hawaiian, they must really like that heat. So yeah, hopefully my hot water system will do it. Very, very, two varies there. Very, very sweet yellow papayas, 10-10. Can grow in pots also and will be much smaller than if planted in the ground. Yeah, that's the closest I'm going to get to my Hawaiian Gold, I think, other than taking marcotte cuttings off my Hawaiian Gold. Hawaiian papaya are encased in a glossy, bright yellow skin. The fragrant flesh is also a creamy yellow colour. So again, creamy. That's what my Hawaiian Gold was, sweet and creamy. It is also a creamy yellow colour and is very sweet, 10 out of 10. The flavour has been described as a blend of mango, peach and banana. Sounds all right, huh? Edible black seeds inhabit the centre cavity and have a crunchy, peppery taste. Well, you've seen my papaya seed video. The seeds are good for getting rid of parasites in all papayas, from what I understand. They talk there are at least 8 other species of the genus of papayas. Carica, is that how they pronounce it? Bear edible fruits. They say at least 8 other species will bear edible fruits. The mountain papaya, that sounds interesting. It's got a better cold tolerance. A friend has offered me some mountain papayas, but I just don't really know if I want them. It could be interesting. I might regret it if I don't take them. I think if he really stuffs them in my face, I'll take a couple and plant them. Again, having that cold tolerance could be good because, as you've seen, it gets too cold here for my papayas over winter, and that always knocks them around a lot. Now here, nutritional value, impressive in nutritional benefits. You can say that about all papayas, really. Papayas are high in vitamin A and antioxidants, containing the enzyme papain. Is that how you pronounce it? Papain? Yeah, that's one of the really big benefits of the papaya is the enzymes. Very powerful, strong enzymes. This fruit is said to aid digestion. That's what those enzymes do. And they say the papaya enzymes are really good for digesting meat, for instance. So people whose insides are just clogged up from too much meat, because meat can clog you up, well, these papayas will just burn into it. Just chew that up and turn it into food. Dissolve it. Enzymes are really important for good health. That's one of the big pluses for raw foods, actually, is they have intact enzymes. Once you freeze or cook or dry foods, you lose the enzymes. And yeah, the papayas have some of the most powerful enzymes. Applications here, a squeeze of lime juice enhances the fruit's addictive flavour. Most commonly enjoyed fresh, papaya can be pureed or baked as well. Papaya can also be used to soften and tenderize thick meats. So there you go. That's where they just say it straight out. It is that enzyme is really good on meats. There's not many other things that digest meat as well as the papaya enzyme. Papaya can also be used to soften and tenderize thick meats such as roast beef or T-bones. Spread mashed papaya over the meat and refrigerate about 2 hours before cooking. Interesting, hey? To store, refrigerate them when they're ripe only. This is interesting. Use within a day or two of picking, I assume. Use within a day or two or flavour will diminish, i.e. the sugars will condense to the bottom of the fruit. Wow, that's interesting. A bit about the geographical history here. Native to the lowlands of eastern Central America, Portuguese and Spanish explorers fell in love with this special fruit and introduced it to other settlements in the East and West Indies, where its Carib name, can't pronounce most of these things, Abayo? Spare me there, Abai. So that's its original name, I guess. Carib, Carib name, its original name, Abayo, Abba Bay. I'm getting tired. Anyway, that name turned into papaya. Okay. Taken to the Pacific Islands, papaya was grown in tropical regions by the late 1800s. That's interesting. So it was never in Asia or the Pacific Islands until the 1800s. It's come from Central America. It's another one of those fruits that has come from South and Central America. To grow good papayas, you need a frost-free climate, lots of sunlight, lots of water, and very good soil. Okay. A bit more there. You should be able to just read that yourself if you freeze it. Again, just a generalized description of how to grow papayas. Again, tracking the right item, the right amount or more, organic seed, non-GMO, Australian grown seed. Same or next day shipping, grower certified, tested in the field. Farming, nursery, and 25 plus years experience growing. Yep, these are the people. These are the people you want to buy your seeds off. No mucking around. So yeah, that's a rundown of the strains. That's taken quite a while, hasn't it? I hope you found this interesting. You can find all this on eBay. Sandnes Farms. In my opinion, they are the best papaya seed growers and suppliers in Australia. The best. They are the experts. And again, this is the strain I bought, the Red Dragon. Oh yeah, I just remembered. Actually, I put this aside too to show you. How's this fruit? This was a fruit that Sandnes Farms was selling last Christmas, and they've stopped selling now. But how is that for a papaya plant, hey? That's incredible. And this fruit they called, I was interested in buying this one actually, but they don't sell it at the moment. Perhaps in the future it'll come back. But this fruit is called a crocodile, a red crocodile. RH1 Dwarf Papaya seeds. Another bonsai, non-GMO with huge fruit. What a beauty, hey? I was just amazed at that pic and I saved it. Yeah, I was seriously thinking of buying this strain, but now that I'm ready to buy it, they're not selling it at the moment. And, well, I do think I like this Red Dragon more. And the thing that cinches me is the flavour. It all comes down to taste, really, doesn't it, in the end? And the grower, I'll just trust him. I trust him. He's got the skills. He's the expert. And here he says, I believe it's the best tasting red papaya I've ever tasted myself. You'll be amazed with the taste and sweetness of these papayas. So, yep, it's still a nice big papaya. Heavy bearing, sets fruit quick, dwarf, no males. Yep, I'm sold. I'm sold on this variety, and I haven't even started growing them. But I hope you'll follow me over the next 6 months or more to see how these fruit progress. But I'm feeling very confident that as long as I can keep up with it, keep up with the work, I'm feeling confident it's going to be a superb fruit, and I won't look back. And every tree should be a winner. I'll have no more dud trees like I've got now. See, I've got like, oh, how many have I got? 30 or more dwarf ties in the yard now, and there's just too much variation in my strain. And I bought that from Thailand as well. I bought that strain, but they just weren't experienced enough for growers. And there's just too many crosses, and a few plants are good, and there's maybe more than a few are not so good. And I don't want that anymore. I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste my time. I'm only in a small yard, and I want to try and make every square meter count. So there it is, folks. If you're considering buying papaya seeds, I hope you found that interesting. And yeah, I feel these people perform a great service in this country. They go above and beyond what you'd expect from a good seed supplier, a good papaya seed grower and supplier. They go above and beyond what's expected from them. And yeah, they're well worth taking a chance on, I think. Again, here, look at the feedback here. No negative feedback at all. Too neutral. 485 people have bought from them. Well, 485 people have given them the thumbs up. They've probably sold a lot more seeds than just that. I think most people probably can't be bothered ever giving them a thumbs up or whatever. Although, you know, again, there's a lot of people, if it wasn't good enough, they'd probably make the effort to give it a thumbs down. But there we go. They've got a really good rating. It's a really good company with a really good product. And yeah, it's not worth taking a chance on, I believe. I've really come to believe that now. It's not worth taking a chance on seeds where there's a bit of doubt about the quality. And it's really worth buying your seeds off a well-known seed supplier, particularly with your papayas, I think. Yeah, it's really worth buying your seeds from a reputable papaya seed grower. So you see in the papaya forums, the papaya Facebook groups, there's often people there saying, oh, send me seeds, send me seeds. Well, it's maybe not such a good idea. It really is worth it. Save your money and get your seeds off someone who really knows what they're talking about. And that's these guys. That's these guys. Sandnes Farm in Australia on eBay. Okay, my friends. Oh, that went a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. So I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'll chop it up or just keep it as is. I hope you find it interesting. And thanks again for your time. Thanks for watching. And I hope you consider my tip, because I believe it's a good tip. I believe I'm giving you a good tip here. If you want to grow the best papayas, these are the people to see. And I make no money. I make no money promoting these people. I just think they're worth it. They really deserve to be given credit where it's due. I've been reading these people, reading and watching them for more than a year, and they are A1 in my opinion. They're the best. They're the papaya seed experts. Okay, my friends, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Like 94% purity, and that's a big call to guarantee that your seeds are going to be 94% chance of them, well, 94% out of 100, yeah. I'll try and, yeah, with 90 for maximum germination and longevity, growing to 6 feet over 3 years in full sun, growing to 6 feet grower, an easy papaya to grow, highly resistant to ring spot virus, super sweet fruit, also suitable to be eaten green as flesh is very crispy, long elongated fruit, red delicious flesh, red delicious fresh. Why? Red delicious flesh. Hawaiian papaya are encased in a glossy, bright yellow skin. The fragrant flesh is also a creamy yellow color. The fragrant flesh is also a creamy yellow color and is very sweet. 10 out of 10. They talk there at least 8 other species of the genus. At least 8 other species of the genus of papayas. Carica, is that how they pronounce it? I need a break. I've been going on for so long. Portuguese and Spanish explorers fell in love with this special fruit and introduced it to other settlements in the East and West Indies, where its Carib name, can't pronounce most of these things, Abayo? Spare me there, Abai. So that's its original name, I guess. Carib, Carib name, its original name, Abayo, Abba Bay. I'm getting tired. Anyway, that name turned into papaya. Okay.